Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Alopecia Angel here, wanting to talk about today, if you do everything right, can hair loss come back? And this is a big topic that I see because people have vicious cycles. They talk about this. They talk about how maybe they have different episodes. Maybe hair loss started when they were 10, and then it comes back when they're 15, and then maybe it comes back when they're 25. And so on and so forth. And each time could be worse. And each time it's getting worse and worse. And even if it's not autoimmune, and let's say it's female pattern, or let's say it's a different type, telogen effluvium, or even postpartum, the longer it's going on for, the worse it gets, right? Because we're losing more and more hair. So even if you're doing all the right things, can hair loss come back? And part of me wants to say no, but I do know that hair loss can come back. And why would that be? I'm going to give you 3 reasons for that. 1, because you still have blind spots that you haven't uncovered. That's probably the biggest one. Blind spots that you haven't uncovered because you thought it was just one thing and it's not. Because you keep thinking it's just one thing and it's not. It's a whole host of things that create long-lasting, full hair, full health. Number 2, it's because maybe you know that certain areas in your life need to be addressed and you haven't addressed them. And this is also a key thing because if you haven't addressed them and it's there, you can't just hide them underneath the rug. They need to be uncovered and addressed. And so even though you may know about it, like the stack of laundry that needs to be done or the big dish pile inside the sink, it needs to be done. No one's going to take care of it unless you do it. So it's one of those things where you just need to tackle it and get it done. I would say to number 3 is that more than likely you think that potentially testing or healing without testing is possible for you, but maybe you're part of that percentage that needs the testing. And I say this because there is a percentage of people who heal without testing. Absolutely. I healed without testing, not because I didn't want to test, because I didn't have access to it. This is why now I offer full worldwide functional medicine testing, gold standard testing. This is testing that is not covered by insurance anywhere. And you can have access to this, doesn't matter where you live. And to have access to this is already a huge benefit. I will tell you that living in the Netherlands, living in Japan, I didn't have access to this. And to find a practitioner who had full functional medicine testing was almost impossible. It was impossible because I never got it. I only got it when I came back to California. And even then, the testing was good. It was pricey. And there were upcharges because they charge extra fees to give you and to administer the test, which I do not do. So that's a huge benefit too. If you've done functional medicine testing, you've paid out of pocket, all of those testing pricing comes with an extra administrative fee. We don't charge any administrative fee. We actually give you direct pricing to the laboratory. So anywhere you live, we can access and get you and grant you access to this, which is huge. So let's run through those things real quick. So first and foremost, if you have hair loss after healing, any type of hair loss, there could be a blind spot that has not been addressed or has not come to the surface as of yet. And this is possible. I've seen this in numerous people, and this can happen. But it can also not happen if you follow the checklist, follow the strategy, and follow everything that you need to be doing diligently. And I will say that's important to uncover and understand all the potential blind spots. This is so much more than just diet. Diet alone is not going to get you there. And so the second thing is that potentially you need to work on a certain area and you're resisting it. I've seen this in clients where they're like, oh no, I've already dealt with that. No, I've got that. I've taken care of that. And lo and behold, it's still there and it lingers. And what happens when something lingers? It persists. What you resist persists. And so this is part of the situation when it comes to healing is if you're resisting something, then it's still going to be there, whether or not you want to be an ostrich and dig your head in the sand. So whether or not you want to be an ostrich, it's still going to be there. That situation is still present and prevalent. And so you have to just tackle it, just like the laundry, just like the homework, just like anything else, you have to tackle it. And then lastly, of course, I mentioned testing. I do know, of course, as I mentioned before, that a lot of people do heal without testing. However, if and when, do the testing. It's so worth it. And not just do the testing once, but do the testing and do so every 3 to 5 years. And do so as if it was a regular checkup, because in many ways, it is a regular checkup. In many ways, it is going to help you to get to that next level. And you may be asking me, what kind of testing? What this and what that? This is where we talk about these things inside the program, inside coaching calls, inside what's needed for you, because maybe there's something that's geared for you much more than for anyone else. So for example, I've had friends who they're 10 years younger than me, 8 to 10, 15 years younger than me, and they've already had cancer. They've already had other health concerns outside of hair loss, outside of autoimmunity. And their testing and their checkups are different than mine, right? They're checking for breast cancer. They're checking for thyroid cancer. They're checking for other things every 6 months. Whereas I'm not doing that because that's not for me. You know what I mean? That's not part of my situation. Now, if you have hair loss, though, there are tests that I do recommend, and not all of them are going to be for you or for your child or for your loved one. But there are certain tests that I do believe in. I think we all would benefit from them at least once every 5 years, at least once every 10 years, depending on the situation. And so we offer over 100 different tests worldwide, and we ship them directly to your door. So you receive them and you send them back and you're good to go. And so this is the beauty of testing and having access to that. So you automatically have access to that when you work with me and my team. The other thing is when we have blind spots that persist, it's like a trigger. It's an area for us to improve on. It's not a setback. It's not a failure. It's an area for us to put a spotlight on and to see what more needs to be worked on. For example, when you're building a house, there could be issues with building a house or even remodeling a house. There could be things that come up that you didn't foresee. And so when these things come up, you just tackle them directly so you can get to the finish line and have a completed project. And in the same way, this is the mindset we have to have when dealing with health concerns or even hair loss, is that we need to tackle everything to get to the end result, to get to the full hair growth, to get to the full vibrant health that we're looking for. This is all possible, but it's needed to have the wherewithal, to have the strategy, to have the access. I can't say how frustrating it was to not have access to appropriate testing, functional medicine testing that's very comprehensive. And let me just give you a little example. My thyroid has always been good. I've never had a thyroid issue. I don't have thyroid issues in my family whatsoever. Now, however, this year though, I tested it and it was much more than just a TSH. It's called a full panel. I did a full panel thyroid and my thyroid was off. But if I'm always thinking, my thyroid has always been good, why should I do a full panel and pay out of pocket for that? Because it's your health and because your thyroid can cross-react with hormones, with hair, and with so many other things. And so it's like driving your car with a flat tire. Nowadays, on most cars, we have a gauge automatic on our dashboard that tells us when our tires are flat or below where they need to be. But before, we would have to either realize this or have somebody point this out, or go ahead and have a flat tire and go through the whole process of having a flat tire. So when you're not checking on things on a regular basis, then you could be missing out on some vital information, crucial information that could be either taking your health backwards or forward. And so if it's taking us backwards, that's okay, but let us figure this out. Let us do comprehensive diagnostics and let's move forward with a solution. So this is why this year I decided to do a full panel thyroid, because I was like, you know what? I don't think I've ever done a full thyroid. My thyroid has always been normal. It's always been normal. Labs always say it's normal. But then I ventured out of curiosity to get my thyroid full panel tested, and lo and behold, it was off ever so slightly. How can this hamper me? In many ways. But at the same time, I don't even need medication. It's just a little supplement to enhance it. And so it could be an easy fix, but how would I have known if I was always in this naive sense of thinking that, oh, for my whole life, my thyroid's been fine, so it should be fine. And my TSH currently with my regular checkup was fine, but I wanted to see more. And that was the full comprehensive test that I got, and I got the results. And the data doesn't lie. It shows you it's off. Therefore, do something about it or have the consequences that go with it. And so it's one of those things where, again, it's blind spots, it's not testing, and then also not getting the right protocol, but then potentially there could be something there that we know we need to look at closely and reconsider, and we haven't done that. And so when someone asks me, can hair loss come back? Yes, it can, of course. Just like you lose weight and you can put on weight again. Absolutely, you can, right? Weight can fluctuate. You can go up and you can go down. Same thing. Now, does it have to be the end all be all? Like, oh, this is another tragedy? No, this is just another opportunity to get back in line, get back into the framework, and to be more consistent. A lot of times, especially in the last podcast I was talking about, it takes consistency. It takes making you a priority. It takes having the belief, taking action. You can have the belief and you can be consistent in many things, but if you're not taking action and being consistent with the action, then we're losing all the implementation process of it. So just to round out, yes, you can have hair loss after healing. Has this happened to me? No, it hasn't. And many times though, too, it doesn't have to be even, let's say, the same type of hair loss. You can have 2 different types of hair loss or even 3. And then when you have hair loss again, it could be something totally different. So for example, I had autoimmune alopecia and then I got pregnant and then I had a little bit of postpartum, but not really. And I kept all that luscious hair that I had grown. And it was a beautiful thing because I mitigated the postpartum hair loss. You don't have to go through postpartum hair loss. And lo and behold, here I am having new clients where the postpartum hair loss is over 12 months. It's going on for over a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years of postpartum hair loss. That's no longer postpartum hair loss. We already have a situation there that needs more attention. And so hair loss can come back, but at the same time, it's always up to you if it does. It's not about the product or a program or anything else. It's about understanding what needs to happen and you doing it. Just like weight loss, you know how to lose weight, most of you. And if you don't know, then this is why you have trainers and this is why you have professionals who can help you with that. And then from there, you would have that knowledge base to maintain and sustain the weight loss. And if not, then you just keep seeing the coach or whoever it is to keep you going and to keep you fit. It's really that simple. And in the same way, you can overcome the hair loss, whether it comes back or not, and understand and have the better tools and knowledge and expertise to say, oh, it could be this. Let's move in towards that. Let's lean in. And a lot of times, even in my own situation, that's what I've done. Sure, my hair is growing. It's rapid. But sometimes let's take it to that next level. But in order to take it to that next level, you still need a new evaluation. You still need to evaluate yourself and see what are these areas that I need to work on. But if you don't know the areas, well, this is a great place to start with the Hair and Heal program because it's necessary to understand the foundation of why you in particular are losing hair. Why in particular are these triggers and blind spots helping you to create hair growth and seeing it stop within a week, just like Vicky from a couple podcasts ago, to more hair growth in just 4 weeks or 5 weeks. And so all these things are possible, but you need to also have that aha moment of, okay, I know exactly what I need personally and what's going to take me to that next level. So this is how we focus and we help you inside the Hair and Heal program because it's much more than diet. It's much more than lifestyle. And there's many triggers that you have no clue that are all interconnected and interweaved with hair loss. This is where we can help. We've done so with thousands of people for over 8 years in over 67 countries. Please share this podcast with a friend, with a family member. So if you have any questions or concerns, email us hello@alopeciaangel.com. And I look forward to helping you then. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the Alopecia Angel podcast, a positive light in healing alopecia. You can do this and we can help. Spread the word that reversing alopecia is possible by telling your friends and family.